Okay, I'm going to start it again. Good morning. How are you? If you've been having a hard time, stressed out, tired, I hear you. Just take a breath. Take a moment. If something's not on fire, just slow down. Or take a nap. He's mad because we haven't gone out for a run yet. Okay, it's February 7th. Let's do our reading. Then I'm going to take him out for a run. To achieve the body you want, the brain, the emotions, the spiritual condition, you must add a physical companion to your diet solution, exercise. Limiting food intake, alcohol intake, whatever, without adding exercise lowers the body's metabolism and eventually makes dieting counterproductive. In other words, the old yo-yo syndrome, losing weight only to bounce back to a higher weight, is causing you. It's caused not just by overeating, but also by low energy life. And this is so cool. The only way you can control your weight permanently is to eat a healthful diet and exercise regularly. And the road to high energy living, the lifestyle of a winner, is paved with the bricks of self-understanding. See how it all comes together? This is so interesting because if you change up the words, what you're going to understand is, oop, didn't mean to wiggle you, is that it works for alcohol too, or shopping or what have you. People do the all or nothing, and then it lasts for hours or days, maybe a little longer, but it's very easy to get the brain to say, I can't take it, or I can't take it, or I won't take it, depending on your personality. So, and it makes me mad to even use the word exercise. Don't even use the word exercise. It's just not necessary. Use a different word, because exercise is just an overused word that stresses people out. And high energy, you don't have to have high energy. You just have to move. There's my puppy. There's my beautiful boy. Look at all that hair on that sheet. Glad I have a whole stack of sheets in the closet. Okay, so the dealio is, give yourself some grace. Just calm down. It can be as simple as not a stroll, but a walk. And actually, I have a mini trampoline that I use, even if it's for 1 minute. If I'm so depressed that I can't do better than 1 minute, I quit beating myself up. I want you to quit beating yourself up. Stop beating yourself up. All that negative adrenaline and cortisol and whatever, all those negative hormones are going to make you sick if they haven't already made you sick. Heart disease, high blood pressure, to get a stroke, right? Knock it off. That's what I'm saying. Knock it off. Stop. You know, there's some good books out there to read. You don't have to make yourself sick with all these stressors, a lot of them. You can stress over stuff if you want to. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to make yourself sick. And then what? And then what? It's easier said than done. I know. I've been reading self-help books all my life, and I still am programmed to stress out. It's just how it is. So, I'm not saying do it perfectly. I'm just saying don't give up on trying to reduce it, because I want you around for a very long time. That's true. I want you around for a very long time. It's not easy deciding to what the heck is this? Ooh, it's a new eyebrow pencil. How about that? I don't know. It's a little fancy for me, but I'm going to give it a shot. So when we talk about, that's probably one of the few readings in the book that I don't think made it clear enough. And back then, the language was a little, just decades ago. That book is very old. There was a way of saying things that people kind of knew what you were talking about, but sometimes overshot. And I think that kind of overshoots where it comes to high energy, exercise. It's like, but we have found that you don't have to try that hard. And even when it comes to drinking, not everybody has to go to treatment. Some people need to be in a protective environment. I can say that a lot of heavy drinkers don't remember a lot about inpatient treatment because their brain is still so busy and activated from being newly sober, from, withdrawal, from not being, because it's a lot of stress to continue drinking with all the negative things going on. People don't quit drinking because life is easy and life is good. They quit drinking because they're going to lose everything if they don't. It's the only reason anybody quits drinking. And sometimes they'll lose everything except their life. And then sometimes they lose their life. Some people don't quit drinking until the doctor says you're going to die. And some people just keep on drinking. Crazy, right? I know. But it doesn't have to just be drinking that we're talking about. It can be food. It can be relationships. And importantly, for people like me, it can also mean how we control our emotions. How much emotion are we willing to spend on being right, on winning an argument, on winning a fight, or internally feeling abused because somebody else is working so hard to win a fight or start a fight or whatever? So it's not just that we're angry and we're controlling and we want our way no matter what. It's also being on the other side of trying to protect ourselves from somebody who's trying to win, trying to make their point, trying to whatever, right? Sometimes it's just, what in the hell did I just do? Oh my gosh. Look, this lipstick just went flying. Wow. These pencils are kind of a neat idea, but oh no. That was the eyeliner. Oopsie. I'm gonna pretend I did that on purpose. Who cares? Just eyeliner with a little lipstick on it now. Oh well. I think I'll go ahead and use it on my eyes. So anyway, when we know we're not going to leave a relationship, but in our mind's eye, even if we don't complain to anybody else, or a job, or a neighborhood, or a car, or whatever's in our life. Maybe we broke a foot or lost an arm or whatever. Or acne. Whatever the situation is, it's like, how much energy are we putting in to that focused situation instead of saying, how can I care for myself with or without that situation going on? How can I care for myself? And if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, you're wrong. I've had to do it several times. And here's the thing too, this is something I had to learn. Your pain can be as sad and debilitating as my pain. And the targets of our pain may look completely different, but it doesn't mean we both aren't suffering a great deal. So I can tell you that I was talking to some people just want to be angry. Some people need to be angry, and I get that. And you can do that as long as you need to do it. At some point, I want you to be able to ask yourself, am I done yet? That's what I had to do. I had to ask myself, am I done yet? I'll tell you where I got some of my philosophy is through the I Ching. I know the whole throwing coins and everything, but the throwing coins isn't like, to me, I don't believe it's like the tarot card or reading your horoscope or anything like that. To me, and maybe I believe that a little bit, because energy can change things. And if you don't believe in energy, slow down. You can't tell me that there's not been at least a time or two in your life that you've walked into a room and you thought, what's going on here? Something's going on here. And sometimes you can walk into a room where there's nobody and you think, someone's been here. Huh. You can just tell, right? There's that energy. Don't tell me you haven't experienced it, because I know you have. Okay. So anyway. Oh my goodness, what a mess. So, I'm just saying that sometimes we need to pay attention, not so much to the situation going on, which don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying don't participate in your own life at some level to keep yourself safe and sane. What I'm saying is the goal should be, how are you? And what can you do to withstand what you insist on putting yourself through? I know that people were talking about I was watching the news. Oh, what was it? Oh, TMZ. I know, it's one of my guilty pleasures. Anyway, they're talking about how some people are saying that that there's some kind of domestic violence going on, that she's being controlled. And I'm thinking, I just think that it's high time that people quit putting themselves in dangerous situations because they won't go to therapy and they're too afraid to make changes. People, there are trade-offs for allowing ourselves to be abused or used. There are trade-offs. I know because I work with people. When we finally start working through the trauma and drama, and then they admit that they keep putting themselves in relationships that are very similar, it's like, okay, well, let's take a look at that. What are you getting out of this relationship now? Now that you're not in trauma and drama anymore, you're creating this intensity. What's going on? Well, if I leave, I'd have to get a job, and I wouldn't be able to spend so much time with my kids. Or I'd have to get a job and everyone would think I'm poor because I don't have a higher education. Okay, so there are other words to describe it if you want to be really crude, but that's a trade-off. That's not abuse. At some point, we have to wake up and look at, what am I trading off to be here? Is it a fair trade? If it's not a fair trade, what can I do? How can I work this to make it more fair to me? See, once again, bringing it back to me. What am I doing? Now, this might be hard for some people to hear. It was hard for me to hear. I've gotten out of some very cushy relationships because I finally had to get honest with myself. Cushy. They weren't cushy if you had a lot of emotions and if you wanted to be able to be in a relationship where you could at least trust what was going on behind the curtains. Right? I'd rather dig ditches and live with somebody with handicaps that I can trust what's going on behind the curtains and live with somebody in a very cushy relationship, very high-end living, and never know what's going on behind the effing curtains. I know what it's like to have to face my fears of living alone. For some of us, until you get therapy and really get a good look at it, being alone can be terrifying. Because that's the ultimate abandonment. It's very scary. Don't think I don't know that. But there's always a reason people stay in abusive relationships. One, that's what they're used to, so it's comfortable. Two, they're afraid to leave and they're afraid to ask for help. Sometimes it's because they think the threat of murder might come true and they want to continue living even if they're miserable. I'm saying all these are legit reasons to be scared to leave. But understand, even if the trade-off is I don't want to die, that's a trade-off. And if you can accept that you want to stay to protect your life, then there's got to be a way to try to at least make the best of it. Self-care, breathing, gentle exercise, just to help balance out some of those horrible chemicals that are racing through your body. I didn't know any of this when I was a victim of domestic violence, when I was a victim of violence. Oh, my neighbor dog is howling. I love that sound. I'm going to go say hi. You know, I've never appreciated it when somebody who you think is a goody two-shoes tells me or the public how to care for themselves, or they don't share that, look, I'm telling you this from a place of knowledge, right? I can tell you, I'm coming at you from a place of knowledge. If you can hear this message and you're being held hostage, or you are constantly being threatened one way or another to stay in line. I get it. Now, that's extreme. I'm bringing it down. Sometimes it's not that intense for most people. For most people, it's something lower, but it's just something that gets them all day long, every day, or consistently, where they're fighting for control. What if, just for today, you just did some, what I call self-care, isn't going to get your nails done. It's called drinking plenty of water, eating healthier food, instead of all the sugar that we tend to crave when we're depressed or sad, and moving, either a mini trampoline or going for a walk or dancing in place. You don't have to have a big place to dance in place or to jump up and down quietly. You don't have to make a big scene out of it, but you can move things around, right? You can just chair dancing, right? Try to get some healthy sleep. Try to remember you're valuable, that someone cares about you. And if you don't know anyone who cares about you, I do. Leave me a message. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I don't want you to be alone in your suffering. There are a lot of people who I hear from, and especially with the males, because this isn't a client counselor relationship, I can't have a relationship with the male on the side, but I can on here. And because then I'm not keeping a secret from my spouse. But I care. And I will respond. And if there's something you want to talk about, you can be vague about it. You can, as soon as you hear from me, you can delete your message. So just also know there's that, what is it? 811, I believe, is the suicide hotline. It's called suicide hotline for short, but it's also a hotline just to talk. It's 24/7, and some people have wonderful experiences with that. Years ago, I even used there was a smoking hotline, smoking cessation hotline. I'm telling you what, they had some good therapists on there. Just someone to talk to. Anyway, I'm so excited about this topic because just thinking about where I came from, what I've had to go through to get to where I am now. I forgot what I heard or read yesterday. I've just had so much going on. Yeah, so the electrician, I've been having a hard time getting people to come and do housework, right? Trying to do the electric, trying to help me under the house with the dryer vents and with the HVAC vents and with the flooding at the 2 points of the house. And it's one thing after another, right? And of course, the electrician guy who was going to put some plug-ins and do some various things, I weaned through so many people gone through so, and then at the 4:30 in the morning sends me a text saying, oh, I have the flu, or I have COVID. That's a big code word, but I guess the guy's sick as a dog. I don't know, can't show up, and hasn't touched base since. So I reached out. So he's alive. He's feeling better. but doesn't know when he'll be ready to get back to work. Okay. So I'm gonna have to try to find another electric company, because the big company I called before is out of Nashville, and they transferred to. I'm like, I don't know who I'm talking to. Someone in Pennsylvania? I'm in Tennessee. Just, so I don't know. I think next time I see a truck going around town and it says electrical company on it, I'm gonna pull them over. I don't know. But something hit me yesterday that was just like an epiphany. It said, you don't have anything to complain about. I can live without another plug-in. This kid did get under there. They've done a little bit of work off the list on the flooding thing. They've dug a trench to get the water to go away from the house. So I'm hoping that'll keep me from having to do a whole foundation work until next year or the next year, because of all the money I'm spending this year. And I have a water heater and HVAC to purchase as well. And a list of things that are on my mind, but they're okay. Right? I can either be frustrated like I was, oh my God, having someone in my house for 3 months coming and going, repairing that bathroom. That drama, which turned into trauma for me, is over now. So I don't have to get strung up and group these situations all in that. This idea, it's like everything's okay. No, it's not. This isn't. I have a whole list of things. It's like, no, I don't care about your list. My list. Everything's okay. I've worked so hard, stressed so much to get where I'm at now. And if I have a stroke tonight, God forbid, I don't want to die yet. I want to keep living. And then I was like, wait a minute, if I keep stressing when I don't even have to, am I living the life that I've worked so hard to get to when I could actually start living it today? Seriously, yesterday was just such a great, why not start living today? Even if I insist on staying in an uncomfortable relationship, uncomfortable home, uncomfortable neighborhood, uncomfortable car, uncomfortable body. Uncomfortable doesn't mean it's trauma or has to continue to feel like trauma. Yeah. My body is so set up from years of being a victim and years of feeling like a victim and responding like a victim. Then it's easy to go there. And I'm not saying I'm always wrong to feel the way I feel. Neither are you. But if I'm also abusing myself by forcing myself to keep bringing back those negative thoughts and keep ruminating, then I'm a victim of myself. Somewhere I have to be able to learn to stop injuring myself. So exciting. Okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna go have some fun. I'm gonna take my dogs for a run. I know. Life is good today. Life is good today. Life is good today. There's a song. It's on the edge of my mind. Life is good today. There's a song. There's a song for that. All right. Mwah. Have a good one. Bye for now.